I'm Adrian Bloor. I'm a haematologist. I work at the Christie Hospital in Manchester. I'm the chief investigator of the RATinG trial. Graft versus host disease is one of the most serious complications of a donor stem cell transplant. What we're trying to achieve with a transplant is to use the immune system from the donor to attack the underlying cancer. Unfortunately, it's not easily possible to separate the bit that you want, which is attacking the cancer, from the bit that you don't want, which is attacking your normal organs such as your skin, your liver and your gut. There are two types of graft versus host disease that can occur after a donor transplant. The first is called acute, and that typically occurs early after the transplant, typically within the first few months. This is where the immune system from the donor attacks a number of organs, typically the gut, liver and skin. The second type of graft versus host disease is called chronic, which is a different disorder which can attack different types of organs and often occurs at a later time point. The most widespread treatment for acute graft versus host disease is with steroids. They can be given either as tablets or injections on a drip, and your doctor will talk to you about why they've chosen one or the other. Unfortunately, they're only effective in about 50% of patients, and the rest will require additional lines of treatment. There are other treatments that are available, but unfortunately they're not as often as effective as we would hope for, and some patients will find that their graft versus host disease becomes resistant to these therapies. The drug that's being studied is called lenzilumab, which is an antibody. Antibodies are part of your immune system. They're your immune memory, and we all make antibodies against things that your body sees, such as infections. And you can generate antibodies against targets within your body. So lenzilumab is a man-made antibody which is directed against something called GM-CSF, which is normally present in your body and is one of the key important mediators of graft versus host disease. So the aim of the study is if you can block the GM-CSF, the hope is that that will be able to treat the graft versus host disease. You may be able to enter the RATinG trial if you have acute graft versus host disease and you've started treatment on steroids. Your doctor and your medical team will then give you more information about the trial and you'll receive a patient information sheet. If you decide you'd like to take part, then the first step would be having a special blood test performed which sees whether you have high-risk disease or low-risk disease, and that assesses whether or not you would then be able to be eligible to go forward with the treatment. The blood test result to determine whether you have high or low-risk disease takes a few days to come back. If you have low-risk disease, then you'll continue to be treated by your medical team and they'll give you the standard therapy that's available. This can vary between centres and they'll talk to you about that. If you have high-risk disease, then you'll be eligible to go ahead into the main body of the RATinG trial. You'll get some further information and you'll be asked to sign another consent form at that point to see if you'd like to go ahead. The trial is designed in two parts. The first 20 patients will all receive lenzilumab, and the purpose of this part of the trial is to get some detailed information about how effective the drug is and to make sure there are no concerns about side effects. Assuming that's successful, the second phase of the study is a randomised trial. And what that means is that half of the patients will receive lenzilumab and half of the patients will receive a placebo, which is a dummy drug. And you won't know which of those that you're allocated to. If you take part in the RATinG trial, you'll need to be monitored on a regular basis to make sure the treatment is working and also to assess for any side effects occurring. We've tried to design the trial in a way that most of those visits can coincide with outpatient visits you'd be having anyway. The lenzilumab treatment is given intravenously on a drip for a total of 6 doses over 14 weeks. And you'll also have other appointments and other blood tests done to check for safety and whether it's working. Every drug has the potential to cause side effects. The important thing here is although we've not used lenzilumab for treating graft versus host disease before, it has been used in several hundred patients for other indications. And in those trials, there was not evidence of significant safety concerns. It is important to recognise, however, that because this hasn't been used in graft versus host disease, we will have to monitor all of our patients very closely to make sure that there is no concerns about the safety of the drug. If someone doesn't want to take part in the trial, they can withdraw their consent for it without giving any reason at any time. It's something I'd really encourage you to talk to your doctor about or to your medical team, and they will ask you questions about whether you wish to stop the trial completely, whether you wish to stop taking the treatment, or whether you'd still be willing for us to collect data about how effective the drug is. I hope you found this video to be useful, and if you had any more questions or wanted more information about the trial, then please speak to your medical team.